Good morning, H2 Show listeners. I hope everybody's doing good. Drive Tribe. If I sound a little raspy, if I sound a little hoarse, it's because I got choked up on something last night. Don't know what it was. Little spit, I don't know, a word, something from my retainer. I have no idea what it was, but I could not cough enough to clear it out. So we're going to have a thoughtful Thursday, but we may have a shorter thoughtful Thursday. We are on episode 2. It is episode 2 of our Time, Protecting Your Time series. Your time is up. Our time is now. We're going to take control of our calendar. Hey, shout out to John Cena. His retirement party turning heel right there at the last minute. If you're a wrestling fan, if you know, you know. WrestleMania is coming up this weekend. So in part 1, we talked about the mindset shift, how we were going to shift our mindset towards protecting our time. That no was a sentence. It was a complete sentence. And that we would protect ourselves, our energy, our time, our clarity, our focus, and kind of put that hedge up so that we would have an opportunity to be more effective at what we do. So with that in mind, we said we would do some things. We'd take a little time audit and see what was where our time was being spent, so that we could then see where we were using our time in maybe the wrong places. For me, a lot of that was around your phone and trying to stay off of it. I continue to have to remind myself to stay off my phone. Obviously, my email and my other things are in there. The Facebook page for the H2 show's in there. And then I like to watch and learn from YouTube. I've been a lifetime learner, and I get down the rabbit holes just like anybody else. So that was been my big one. I was trying to do that less during the hours I'm with other people and be more engaged. And I think my screen time's down a little bit. But let's get a little more practical today about how we can protect our time, our energy, so on and so forth. So we're not going to talk in theory. It's no more about kind of the exploration of the mindset. You've already accepted the fact that your time is valuable, that it is your asset, it is your the thing that you have to offer, and that not just the amount of time, but the quality of that time is what matters. So now we need to talk about how do you protect your time a little bit further. We talked about those 3 spaces throughout the week, the time on your calendar for you to do some thinking. But here's another way you can do it, right, is you can get onto your calendar and start to time block. CEOs, VPs, other people, people in the IT space do this a lot. If you're a project manager, is blocking out your days so that other people cannot come in and interrupt your day. So you do things like theming your days. On this day, I'm going to accomplish these 3 tasks. We just recently got a little smart board, and Jenny told me what the name of it was, but the kids love it because they now have a checklist. So you're not just wondering aimlessly about the things you need to do. They're on there. For you, it can be finding those 3 or 4 things in a day that you need to do and say, hey, these are the big rocks. I love that illustration, and I don't know if everybody's seen it, but you take a 4 or 5 rocks, couple 30 pebbles, and then a bunch of sand. And if you get a jar, mason jar, if you put the sand in the jar first, the little things, the things that may be urgent but aren't important, you'll fill that jar up and you won't have room for the big rocks and the pebbles, right? But if you put the big things first, all of a sudden the pebbles fit really well, and all of a sudden the sand just fills in the other little areas. And maybe you don't get as much sand in, but those are obviously the least important projects. So that's how you should treat your day. You should theme your day about getting those 3 or 4 big rocks in. And then you create these deep work windows, right? This is when you put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Your inbox is closed, and you may even put your out of office on, or, hey, it may be delayed or that sort of thing. So an away from keyboard type of message where you can create a space for you to do that deep work, which we talked about. And then you can add some flex space. So not everything has to be blocked to be valuable. So you may put a block on your calendar that has no specific title to it. Maybe it's just away. And that gives you the opportunity to think creatively. I went to lunch yesterday with someone, and she had been encouraged by her boss. He said, "Look, you're great about being in the corner office doing. Like, you've done an amazing job. You're quiet. You don't, put yourself out there." He said, "But you've told me these are your intentions. You want to be in this position. And in order to be in that position, being in the dirt, having your boots on still is not going to be what elevates you to your next position, because we already know you can do that work. What you need to do is prove that you can do the strategic, the big thinking, these big picture works." And part of that was networking for her. And so that was why she asked me to go out to grab lunch or coffee. And I'm like, "Hey, I need it to be a short meeting because I've got to get back and get some work done." But agree that I hadn't talked to her in a long time about different research type stuff and engineering things, and had some ideas that I could throw at her. So add that flexible space. Maybe it is a one-on-one or some mentorship time, or maybe it's time to yourself. So the other thing you should do is what they call meeting surgery, right? You don't have to go with a shotgun and say, like, "Hey, I'm not having any meetings ever." No, but you can get with the scalpel, and you can go in and ask yourself, could this be an email? Could this be, sort of asynchronous? I could meet with one person and get some stuff done and then go meet with another person. So could I limit the amount of people? Can we combine meetings so that I have one maybe hour meeting as opposed to two 30-minute meetings with a, disparate group? And sometimes that can encourage collaboration. And then you can also ask, do you really need it at all? It's a fair question. Is the meeting necessary? And the other thing you can do is, like, there was a leader that I was reading about, and basically the way they worked was no meetings before 11 a.m. Their best time where they did their best work was from the hours of 8 to 11, probably a little earlier than that too. But that was their kind of creative vault. That's the space they gave themselves to say, "Hey, we're not meeting before 11 a.m. I'm not doing it," because it gets you a chance to come in, reset. Maybe there was an important email or important topic from a customer that came in. You handle those things. Maybe you have to be prepared for that 11 o'clock meeting, right? Gives you time to get in the right mind space so that you're thinking about what you're going to talk about, not just talking about it and rambling. And they protected that space like gold. And for you, it might be different, right? It might be 9 to 10. It might be the first hour after lunch. It might be after 3 p.m., right? I do some of my best thinking between the hours of 4 and 6. But claim it, guard it, and use that time well. That's your job is take ownership of your own success or failure in managing your calendar. Because if you don't manage it, someone else will. And then there's the way you filter your calendar invite should now be, if it's not a heck yes, it's a no. If it's not a, oh yeah, I'm ready. If it doesn't make you want to sing Steve's Lava Chicken and throw your popcorn like you're at a Minecraft movie viewing, you don't need to be in that meeting necessarily, right? And I'm not saying heck yes is like you're excited. I mean, heck yes is like, oh, that's a really important meeting, and we actually do need to meet and talk about that. If you don't need to meet and talk about it, it's a no. If your opinion is not really valuable and you're not actually going to add anything or take anything away from the meeting, it probably should just be an email. Heck, it might even be a Teams chat. So not everything deserves a spot on your schedule, just like not everybody deserves your water on their fire. And not every request is your responsibility to fulfill. If you are a manager or a leader, director, whatever it is, you have people that report to you or work with you. First of all, that was another thing that we talked about yesterday at lunch, was your job is to elevate and empower. You're trying to build a team that has the skill sets that are necessary for them to continue to advance. Well, if you take every opportunity, you're not giving it to someone else. They're not having that opportunity to advance and be empowered. And so if you need to look at it that way, as I'm raising up new leaders and trying to help them get engaged and and learn here, then look at it that way. If you need to look at it as, hey, I'm overwhelmed and I just need a relief valve, and so I'm going to give it to somebody else, that's okay too. But the key here is that not every request is your responsibility to fulfill. And the company that you work for or the people that you work with may be better served by you giving that meeting to someone else or inviting someone else. And you can be that, that tool that makes that happen. So there's some tools I want to talk about. I use ChatGPT to help me find some of these tools. I don't use all of these tools myself, but there are tools out there. I'll start with the simple. You can have a family Google Calendar. That can help. You can use the calendar on your iPhone, because I will tell you, if it's not on my calendar, it's really hard for me to remember that I have to do it. And I look at my time in blocks. And so whoever your family, put those on a calendar. Put your events on a calendar, whether it be physical. Some people like physical calendars. That's totally okay. Or it be digital. But get connected so that you know that your family and your professional life are in sync and are being collaborated, so that you're not overcommitting at work to a dinner, to a hosting event you got to do on a weekend because a customer wants to come and the normal person that covers it's not there. Those are the simple things to start with. Other things you can do, you can use ChatGPT to plan things for you, give you ideas so that you don't have to think about things that aren't as important, like, oh, I got to go on Canva and design a birthday card or a birthday invite. You can use apps and other things to help you do those. So that's where I encourage you to start with the free stuff before you start paying for anything. Some of the AI stuff you'll see out there is things like Motion and Sunsama, and those will help you plan your day, but they also cost money. So I'm not going to recommend that you just jump right into that until you start with the simple stuff of getting your calendar under control, blocking some things out and starting there. One of the things I'll say that's also free, the do not disturb feature on your phone, use it. The other thing you can do, you can actually pick what's blocked. So if if Trip has my phone, I can block certain notifications and let others through. So I can put it on show mode when we're, after hours, and it'll block all my email notifications. One, I don't want him clicking into the email notifications, accidentally sending somebody an email. But two, it's less disturbing for him because he can watch a show on my phone while we're doing other things. So that one's highly underrated. Here's another thing, email batching. You do not need to be tied to your inbox every day, all day. If that's your job, I get it. If you're in the world of customer service and you need to be able to respond quickly, I get it. But even in that space, let's say you quote stuff for people and that's your job. Pricing, specs, all the things you have to do, availability, all those things that go into quoting a product, those require your mind space to be free. And you have to drill down the little rabbit hole and go down through there and do some deep thinking of what's the right price? Who do I need to talk to about the right time that this can be made? Have I checked over the spec and make sure it matches what the customer needs? Have I covered any other special requirements they haven't baked in, whatever cost is going to be in that? You cannot do that and simultaneously be looking at every urgent email that's popping up in your inbox. So I would say batch your emails. I'm going to look at emails from X time to X time. Boom. Okay. I'm going over to do some deep thinking and some deep work for an hour or so. And then and you can set it up where VIPs can come through your notification blocking and pop up in the bottom corner of your screen. But I would encourage you to minimize your inbox and turn those notifications to urgent only while you're trying to manage through those really important other things that you have to do in your job. So don't live in your inbox, manage your inbox. And I promise you, you are made for more than just replying all. All right, and when it comes to saying no, here's a technique that I've been taught recently. And I'm trying to practice it now. You want to tell people to continue to invite you to things. Let's say, for example, they ask you, hey, can you come to this client dinner with me? And let's say you do have a family obligation or something else that prevents you from being there. Your typical answer is, I would love to, but I can't because, okay? What you can say is, I have a conflict, but please keep inviting me because I really do enjoy attending those client meetings and I think I could get something from it, but I just can't do it this time. But please, continue to invite me. You end with the positive. So you're setting the boundary up front. Like, unfortunately, I can't. But don't stop asking because I really do appreciate that you thought of me. And then you've set a boundary, but you've also left on a positive note. Like, don't stop asking. I still want to be involved. I want to stay engaged with you. Also, another one is, I can't help you right now, but I can help you by and set a time. The other thing is people ask you generically things too, and don't feel a false sense of urgency. They'll say, can you do this, this, and this? I certainly can. When do you need that? Why? Because you've now prompted them to tell you how urgent is it to you. We had this happen in our business where if the VP was talking to anybody on the sales team, they would immediately rush to do what he wanted them to do, and it took them out of what the client and the customers were asking in the inbox that we share. And it was breaking the process. When really what he was saying is, I don't need this right now. I'm getting it off of my plate. And it's a dangerous game when you're doing that, right? Is your mental plate is full, and what you're really trying to do is note it to yourself and tell somebody else so they'll be your accountability partner and remind you or remember it with you, so that when you ask it again, you're not like having to get back to that thought. But it's unfair to them because now you've burdened them and interrupted their thought. And so I would say use your notes tabs, use your notebook and write things down to purge that out of your mind, but give you a place that it's stored so you can come back to it. It happens to me all the time, and I upset a lot of people because I'm in my brain and I've got a stream of consciousness going, and I just want to share it because I want them to have opportunity to sit with that thought too and maybe give me their feedback, but not on my timeline, just whenever they can. But that's unfair to them, and it's unfair to you. So make sure you ask when. I got the what. I got the why. I even know how I'm going to do it, but I need to know when you need it. And then you can tell them, I can't do it then, but I can do it this time. So, all right. Let's get the verse of the day. We are getting close to the 20-minute mark, so let's transition over to that. The verse of the day today comes from Proverbs 4:25 and 26. Let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before you. Give careful thought to the paths for your feet and be steadfast in all your ways. So we'll go to the Logos app again. I've stayed off my phone a little bit more in the show, so I hope y'all have noticed that, or I hope that's been beneficial for everybody. Maybe I need to be on it more. I don't know. Maybe y'all tell me I ramble too much. I would appreciate any commentary on how it can be better. Always appreciate that. Yeah, so in the ESV, let your eyes look directly forward and your gaze be straight before you. Ponder the path of your feet. Then all your ways will be sure. So again, this is a focus in on the intentionality of life and living. Be intentional in what you do. Be intentional in what you say. Think through what you say before you say it. I'm talking to myself just as much as anybody else. But be intentional in how you react to things. It's okay to let things play out. It's okay not to be the first one to speak. It's okay to manage your calendar, manage your life, manage your energy, focus, and clarity. It's your time. Use it wisely. And it's a gift from God that you have the time that you do. So honor that gift and the giver. So here's my challenge. I've given you a lot of tactics there. Pick the one you like the most. Just one. Try it out this week. Tell us, how it went. Tell us other thoughts or processes you use. I think the one that I'm going to use to start with is is blocking my calendar a little better and keeping some areas, as well as minimizing my inbox. Those are the two things. So while I'm trying to do that deep learning, minimizing my inbox. But I want you to start small. Again, continue the shift of the mindset. It's okay to own your own time. It's okay to make your schedule how you need to. And then I want you to share those favorite learnings that you have with us in comments and suggestions that you have for us as a group here, as a tribe of folks trying to get better. So think about it this way. When you design your time, you design your life. How you use it will determine how much success you have. Whether that's spending time with your friends, family, spending time with God in prayer and reading the Word, or spending it scrolling TikTok, you will reap you will sow what you reap, or reap what you sow. Sorry, you will reap what you sow. Do you sow good seeds? Do you use your time wisely? Or have you sown bad seeds? So again, love you all. I want you to be successful. I hope that these conversations we're having are giving you some little seeds, little nuggets that you can go and explore on your own. Certainly go deeper in all the learning. There's a lot smarter people out there than me. I just want to be a voice for you to try to make some better decisions in your life, because if we make the hard choices first, we make good choices, then we don't have to focus on making excuses. We don't like to say goodbye around here. We like to say see you real soon. But
at the end of the day, the day got